Science is God's general revelation as creator. Godonomics reveals God's wisdom for an economy. My guest is Chad Hovind, senior pastor of Horizon Community Church in Cincinnati, Ohio. He's been involved in writing curriculum for both churches and small groups and is the author of what is proving to be a very influential book entitled Godonomics. Chad, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, today's the big day, the launch of your book, Godonomics. Tell us why this book is so important and what the culture is going to learn from this.
Well, I am very excited about this book. You know, my heart is introducing people to the God of the Bible. And so Godonomics is actually an evangelism book or an evangelism tool disguised in one sense as an economic book. I mean that because it covers God's wisdom on economics, on personal economics and macroeconomics, meaning how do you handle your own money in a way that's wise. You might put in the same category as, say, the writings. You know, Proverbs is observed wisdom. God reveals himself through specific revelation in the Bible, but he also reveals himself through general revelation. That's the study of science. We study God's creativity, his engineering, his brilliance through the world around us. But economics, we can also learn God's brilliance through economic study. And so Godonomics does that. And it shows that when God wanted his people to be free, he wanted them to be wise, he wanted to understand how to free society, he laid out in the book of, the whole Pentateuch, as the people were coming out of Israel, Moses taught them how to be a free people. And he told them to proclaim liberty into all the land in Leviticus. And so that's what we wanted to do. I wanted to help people understand that when God brought the people out of Egypt, he had some ways or some teachings to help them learn how to have a society.
Now, the author or the publisher of this book is Random House Publishing. They're one of the largest publishers in the world, and they said that they think this book will be one of the top books of 2013 that to influence the culture. Can you talk about that and explain that? Why do they think that?
Well, first I'd say I'm very humbled by that. I mean, I'm a first-time author, and it's sort of a classic story. Got turned down by 50 or 60 publishers, all the small guys and medium ones. So in one sense, I'm just very humbled that Random House Multnomah would choose to take a risk on me, so to speak. So I'm very honored and humbled by that. And they have labeled Godonomics as a big book, and that's sort of a category they use to describe a book that's going to get people thinking. And this book intertwines history, philosophy, the gospel, Bible, movie references. You're going to hear from Elmer Fudd, you're going to hear from Steve Martin, and you're also going to hear some contrast between Jesus, Moses, Milton Friedman, and Francis Schaeffer. So it's a little bit of everything, and it's done with a lot of humor, a lot of stories. You hear some of the ways in which I taught my kids, or am teaching my kids' work ethic. Some ways God has challenged my wife and I to step outside of our comfort to be more and more generous. So it covers both the biblical worldview related to individuals and states, as well as how to practice these principles in your life.
Okay, now I am shocked at the variety of endorsements you've got this book endorsed by. I mean, you've got Glenn Beck, you've got Josh McDowell, Mike Huckabee, Bob McEwen.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me, what is it that's drawing these guys that would be on very different platforms in some areas all to the same platform of Godonomics?
Yeah. Well, I think I would talk about, the Puritans called that common grace, the idea that God has given some ways in which people of different belief systems can come together. Certainly, Paul talked about in Romans 2 that the law of God is written to all of our hearts. Now, clearly, there's a significant difference between different religions, different philosophies, and I go into that in the book. I show very clearly that the gospel in the Bible has a unique vision on work, a unique vision on salvation, a unique vision on the person of Jesus. In fact, I use the book to introduce you to Jesus. In fact, by contrasting the true gospel from, say, social justice or some of the other teachings, progressive teachings, I'm able to clearly articulate the gospel in a way by saying, it's not that, it's not that, it's not that, here's what it is. So it became a very exciting intellectual journey while sort of laughing together and having some fun together to say, let me tell you what the gospel is really about. There is a God in heaven, and he loved you enough to come to earth and to rescue you from your own inner rebellion, your own inability to live up to your own standards, let alone his. Jesus died on that cross to show you how generous he was. And when that grace impacts you, when you accept Christ as your forgiver and leader, you become more and more generous. You experience inner liberty, and you want other people to have that liberty too.
Well, it is an amazing book, and it's an amazing curriculum that you have put together. Thank you for spending the time on this. Josh McDowell said, Godonomics is a must-see. It's an incredible comparison of biblical economics and the culture, an eye-opener. Why was this so important for you, and what did this do as you started this as just a series you did for your church?
Well, again, apologetics is one of my passions, and certainly helping people. I think of our church and I think of this book as a tool that helps thinkers believe and believers think. And so there's a lot of folks who are thinkers, and they say, I want to believe, but I really want the apologetics and the evidence. And so I've always felt like having dialogue, respectful dialogue with people of differing views is very healthy, because one, it challenges me to make sure I'm really giving a great answer for the questions asked, and two, the folks asking questions, they deserve a good answer. So Josh McDowell's always been somebody who's impacted me in his ability to articulate the faith using reason, using philosophy, and using evidence. So that is woven through the entire book. There is evidence for the reliability of the Scriptures, evidence for theology proper, who God is, the unique vision of Trinitarian God, unique vision for Jesus Christ as our Savior as He comes to earth. And that just slowly, each chapter, you get more and more of the gospel. And there's a clear gospel presentation in chapter 200, not chapter 200, page 200, where someone can actually accept Jesus Christ because slowly they've gotten the information. It's almost like a theology course built into a book so that you can introduce somebody who's unconvinced about Jesus to the God of the Bible.
Well, I got to say, I agree with Mike Huckabee on this when he said his first reaction was, this is brilliant. I mean, brilliant was the word he said, and I couldn't agree more as I've gone through the content and certainly enjoyed seeing this book evolve, for lack of a better word. So thank you for all the hard work you put into this. And people can get that. We've got the website, Godonomics.com is Chad's website you can go to. The book is also available on Amazon. You can get it if you're an Amazon Prime member. Get that, and it's available right now today.
That's right. Comes out. Yeah, comes out today. I'm very excited about that. And if you're going to summarize the book in one sentence, it's capitalism. It's not just a good idea; it's God's idea. And that's what I love about the book. It's such a unique tool to introduce business-minded entrepreneurs or people who just say work ethic's important. I'm worried about my kids. A sense of entitlement today. Are they going to get a job? This is going to teach you principles that you can teach your kids. And if you have a passion for reaching the unconvinced, like I do, it is going to be a tool like nothing else you've ever seen for introducing people who love business and entrepreneurship to the God of the Bible.
Well, I can tell you, after you get one, you're going to want to get a second to give to a friend. So, Chad, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure. You guys go out and get the book, Godonomics, and see what the buzz is all about and why Random House chose this as one of their top 10 books. Thanks again, Chad. God bless.
Good. I appreciate it. Thanks.